the fact that a lot of the countries that are having issues financially are not the ones sitting at the table here.
And that's exactly it. One of the policies that this group has promoted is austerity. And if you could remember the widespread protests that happened in Greece, people literally taking to the streets protesting the very policies that these countries, that this group has been promoting. And they're saying that some of these policies, we see Greece, Portugal, Spain are suffering. They say the policies pushed by the G8 has been contributing to rising unemployment and are prolonging the recession. So there's a lot of speculation, and some people say that the policies that this group pushes is not necessarily in the best interest of those that are not part of this elite group.
And some of those other policies, when we think about all that is going on right now, certainly the Iraq war, the U.S. is out of Iraq now, and now they're going to start talking about what's next in Afghanistan, how to keep the Middle East on track with all the various tensions there. Talk a little bit about those sort of non-agenda items that could be front and center.
And that's what I wanted to touch upon next, Christine, is a lot of times a prediction, an indicator of how a group is going to act is based on their actions in the past. And if you look at what this group has advocated in the past, they have pushed for more funding for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And of course, here we are 10 years later, not a clear resolution, not a clear victory, trillions and trillions of dollars pumped into this war, massive amounts of lives lost on both sides. And here we are, many wondering if intervening, if it was all worth it.
And certainly one of the many topics that protesters come out to protest against is sort of what is decided on some of that policy regarding intervention and wars. And from what I understand, Liz, I mean, originally next month's summit was not supposed to be where it's going to be, which is Camp David.
That's exactly it. If you remember, not too long ago, there was this sudden and abrupt announcement of this change of venue for this summit. Originally, it was supposed to be held in the city of Chicago, of course, President Obama's hometown. But then all of a sudden, the White House announces, hey, it's not going to be in Chicago. It's going to be in Camp David, Maryland, not too far away from here. But this is a site that is kind of tucked away in the woods, more secretive, more secluded, where, you know, the normal everyday person, protesters won't have access to these leaders. So there's a lot of speculation as to the reasoning behind this change of venue. A lot of people think it's to avoid these protests, massive protest plan, because, you know, occupiers wanted to take their messages to the doorstep of the G8, which could prove to be quite an embarrassment for President Obama to have these protests be taking place outside of this summit, especially, you know, as campaign season clearly is underway.
But as we know, those protests will undoubtedly happen, just won't be quite where the summit's taking place. RT correspondent Liz Wall, we do appreciate it. Well, the bodies are piling up in what's